Hi there. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Git version control software in a web-based platform, Bitbucket. Using this tutorial, you can convert any folder in your PC into a cloud-based repository for free. Before we begin, make sure that you hit the subscribe button so that you can stay updated with our latest videos. Git is an open source distributed version control system. It's like a software which is available for free. Bitbucket is one of the web-based version control repository hosting services. GitHub is also another alternative which you can use. Bitbucket has a free version, and as of today, June 2020, they have a limitation of team size of 5 and the repository size of 1 GB. They have a paid version also and a good customer support team. The first step is to create your online repository. As I have discussed, we will be using Bitbucket. Let's start by creating an account. You need to give your email details and then sign up. They will send you a verification link to your email ID. Go to your mail and verify your email. You'll be prompted to enter a username. I'm using IIT tutorials. Continue. Once you have successfully logged in, you will be seeing the home page of the Bitbucket like this. So the first step is to create a repository. You need to enter the project name. Let's call it Project X, and repository name is also going to be Project X. These are optional entries. Create repository. In your repository, what you see here is the link to your repository. We are done with the repository creation. Let's go back to the PC and go to the folder which you want to link with the repository which we just created. Let's open a terminal here. And then first check if you have Git available in your PC. If you have Git, then this will show with the version number using this command, git --version. If you don't have, you can use the following command to install Git. So I'm not going to use it because I already have Git installed in my PC. The next step is to configure Git. For that, you need to specify your username and email ID. So first step is username. I have given the username as IIT tutorials, and then email ID. Here you need to change it to user.email. Now our current project directory is Project X. Inside that we have IIT tutorials folder. Let's go back to the folder. So Project X is our root directory. This is the directory which we want to link with the remote repository. Now we have opened a terminal here. This is the root directory. We are in IIT Project X directory, and there is one subdirectory called IIT tutorials, and inside that you have a readme file and you have a folder with so many images. Now the first step is to ensure that you don't push very large files into the Git repository. For that, you need to go inside the main project directory and then create a file called .gitignore. So this file should contain the extensions to all the large files which are going to be present in this folder. I have so many large images, so I'm just going to specify, I'm going to tell Git that okay, you don't need to push all my images to the Git repository, it's just going to be local. So then you just need to specify star.png, save, and then close. The next step is to initialize the repository locally. For that, we need to use the command git init while you are inside the folder which you want to link with the remote repository. So let's see the current folder. So we are inside project X. I'm going to use the command git init. Now you can see that there is a .git file which just got created. It just got created in the working directory. After that, we come back to the terminal and then we add all the files, git add star to git repository. The next step is to commit all the changes locally. For that, we are using the command git commit -m. After -m, you need to specify a message, commit message, which is going to appear in your log. So this is the initial command, initial commit from local PC. So this message is going to appear. After that, you need to connect this remote repository with this local repository with the remote repository. The command for doing that is git remote add origin. After this, you need to specify the address of the repository which you had created earlier. This is the address. So I'm pasting it here. I'm trying to link it. Now we have connected local repository with the remote repository. So the next step is to push the changes to the remote repository, that is Bitbucket. So the command for that is git push origin master. In this, push is the command and origin is something which we use to specify the branch we are in. Branch is a different concept in Git. Branches are typically used for developing different features parallelly using the same set of code. Using this command, we can communicate with the repository. Now you need to enter the password which you have used while creating the Bitbucket repository. This has failed because this is a typical scenario. This happens when you have some changes in the remote repository which are not there in the local repository, and you're reaching a conflict. If you face this kind of errors, you need to use this command. First, update the changes in the remote repository to the local repository, and then try to push to the remote repository. I pressed Ctrl X now when that message just came up. You can see that this readme file which was there in the online repository, it just appeared here in the local repository with the same set of contents which are there online. Now that we have pulled, let's push the changes. Let's refresh the online repository. As you can see, your local folder IIT tutorials has come here, and in your local PC you had inside IIT tutorial you had this folder images. Now this is not present because we are ignoring all the files inside this. This is a typical way to use Git. Now let's say if you want to change one file and while locally and then update the changes there. Let's go to readme file and make a change. So this is the readme inside IIT tutorial directory. My first edit in local PC. I'm closing this file, coming back to coming back to the terminal. Now the current working directory is project X. Now by using this command git status, I can see the current status of the repository. It says that there is a file which is modified, and the file is iittutorials/readme.md. I need to add all the files which are modified using git add star, and I'm going to check the status again. Now it says that now it has turned to green. That means it is added. Now there is a file which is untracked. Let's add that also. It needs to be explicitly added. Git add go.getIgnore. Now let's check the status. So both the files are added successfully. Now we need to commit it. Commit -m. First local edit in readme. Commit is done. Then let's push it. Here let's see if it will give us a conflict or not. It did not, because nobody changed anything in the online repository while we were away. So now our changes should be reflecting here. It was 6 minutes ago. It was down to 35 seconds ago. Let's open the file, my first edit in local PC. With this, the tutorial is done for those who work in a single member team. So these are the commits. The initial commit is there, and then after that we made some changes in the local PC, and then we pulled, and then we merged the changes in remote server with a local server. That also appears as separate commit, and then we did the last edit in the readme file. So you can see all the messages here, and if you click in the commit ID, you can see that what exactly was changed in that particular commit. You can see that these two files are which are changed, and these are the two files, and these are the exact lines which were changed. The next step is to share your repository with your teammate and then collaborate for your project. For that, you need to go to the source tab and then share repository. Here you can add either the username, Bitbucket username of the user, or the email ID which was used to register for Bitbucket. I'm going to use the email ID for the time being. So if you want the person to modify the contents of the repository, you can give him write access. Right now, vinishvsiitb@gmail.com has been given write access. Now he will get a notification. Yes, there is a notification. It says ID Tutorials invited you to collaborate in project X. Now you need to accept the invitation. So the user will be connecting this repository with his Bitbucket account. So you can accept the invitation here. Note that for the demo, I'm just using a separate account. Right now, I can see all the files, except that right now the user is Vinish VS. Sorry, here. Yeah. Now this is in the server. Now if I want to work with my local machine, I need to do something called cloning. So git clone is a command, git clone and the repository address. So if you click here, it will copy the entire command. Then we can go to it, let's say separate directory, music maybe. We can open a terminal and then paste that command. Now the person will have to enter his Bitbucket account password. Now you can see that this has created a folder called project X with the same contents as the remote repository. The user's name is Vinish. So let's create a folder. It's a good practice to have separate folders for different users unless they want to work on same file. So inside Vinish, I created a folder and I'm going to create a file called Vinish underscore readme or something of that sort, and Vinish file, save, exit, and then come back here. Now we are outside the repository. Let's go inside the repository. cd is a command to change directory, and then the person will also have to configure git using git config commands which we had used earlier. Git config global Vinish, and then email id vinishvs@itv.ac.in. Now is good to go. Let's check the status of the repository. So it says that there is a new untracked file which we just created, untracked folder. Now let's add git add Vinish, and their folder is added. Now git status has changed to green. It says there is a new file which you have to commit. Changes to be committed is this one. The command is git commit -m. Now let's check the git state, do the git status again. There is nothing to commit. So here, and it says your branch is ahead of origin master by 1 commit. Origin master, so there is a new fresh commit has come after we pulled the changes, pulled or cloned for that matter. Now let's push the changes to the repository. Now the password is the Bitbucket password of Vinish. So be careful at this part. Make sure that there are no errors or warnings. So let's go to the repository and then check the commits. So I'm still in Vinish account. So it says that Vinish has changed something, and then it appears in the remote server. So this log, whatever we are seeing here as a series of commits, we can see it locally also. The command for that is git log. So this section, if you look at this, so every commit is getting assigned a particular unique ID. So this helps you revert back any file in any particular version to any particular version at any point in time. So that's the beauty of Git. So the entire version history is maintained while you have only single copy of the file in the local machine as well as in the remote machine. Now let's go back to the Bitbucket account of IIT tutorials and then open the repository. See the commit history here, and IIT tutorials also can see that Vinish has edited something here. This is in the remote repository, but has it come to the local repository? Let's see. Git status, git log. So if you use git log, you can see that it shows 1, 2, 3 and 4, only 4 commits, while in the remote repository we have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 commits. To update the local folder in the PC with the remote changes which Vinish has just done, IIT tutorial has to do this: git pull origin master. That means pull the changes from the remote repository from the branch master and update the files locally. As you can see, this is successful. There are no warnings or errors, and it specifically says what file has been changed, and in the GUI inside the repository the Vinish folder has appeared with the same contents, Vinish file. That's all about Git. You can share this repository with maximum 5 people in Bitbucket in the free version, and the entire repository size should be less than 1 GB. Thanks a lot for watching. Please post your doubts and feedback as comments. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Thanks a lot.